Hello everyone, my name is Taylor Gomez and thank you for taking the time to join me today for this training session on using sensitivity analysis in capital budgeting. In this presentation, I'll take you through what sensitivity analysis is, why it's important, and how it's applied, both quantitatively and qualitatively when evaluating capital investment projects. We will also look at how sensitivity analysis helps assess risk. I'll provide a simplified case example to show how changes in variables like sales and costs can influence financial outcomes. So let's begin by understanding the basic concepts of sensitivity analysis. Sensitivity analysis is a decision-making tool. It is used to evaluate how changes in input variables affect a specific financial outcome. This is most often net present value or internal rate of return. In capital budgeting, sensitivity analysis is especially useful because its investment decisions are made based on projections, which are inherently uncertain. Sensitivity analysis allows us to test that uncertainty. For example, if we're unsure how sales will perform, we can model what happens if sales increase or decrease by 10%. This technique helps us understand which variables have the greatest influence on a project's success and where potential vulnerabilities may exist. It's important that we take a second to discuss the purpose and benefits of sensitivity analysis. By understanding its purpose, we are able to see the benefits received by a company. The purpose of sensitivity analysis is to enhance decision-making by identifying and calculating risk. It helps us in seeing the assumptions that are most critical to a project's financial outcome. When we can see which inputs cause the biggest changes in value, we're better equipped to focus on those factors, forecast more carefully, and build contingency plans. Irons explains how sensitivity analysis also builds confidence when presenting proposals to stakeholders because it demonstrates that we've considered uncertainty and prepared for multiple scenarios. Sensitivity analysis improves transparency and helps managers make more informed, data-backed investment decisions. Alright, let's go over the quantitative steps that are involved in conducting a sensitivity analysis. I like to think of this like conducting a science experiment where you will have controlled variables, independent variables, and dependent variables. For each perceived outcome, you will hold all variables constant except for one. First, we start with a base case model. This includes our best estimates for future cash flows, revenues, costs, and discount rates. From there, we begin to identify key variables, which usually involve sales volume, unit cost, or capital expenditures that have the biggest impact on outcomes. Next, we adjust one variable at a time while keeping others constant. For instance, we might increase unit cost by 10% and observe how NPV changes. This step-by-step process lets us measure the individual impact of each factor. We then record the results, compare them to the base case, and analyze which inputs are the most sensitive. This provides a clear, data-driven view of where our assumptions are strong and where they are risky. Okay, next we have qualitative factors in risk analysis. Let's begin by stating that while numbers matter, not all risk is quantitative. Therefore, sensitivity analysis should also incorporate qualitative factors that influence projects' feasibility. Some examples of these qualitative factors can be found by answering questions like, how experienced is the management team? What's the competitive landscape like? Are there political, regulatory, or legal risks? Is there a risk of supply chain disruption or shifting customer preferences? Even if the numbers look great, a project could still fail due to non-financial challenges. According to Irons, by factoring in these softer risks, decision makers can form a more holistic view of a project's viability. Now, how does sensitivity analysis actually factor into capital budgeting? There are several ways to incorporate risk. A common method is using a risk-adjusted discount rate. This is a higher rate for riskier projects, which lowers the present value of expected cash flows. We can also use scenario analysis, where we combine multiple changes at once. For example, we can adjust lower sales and higher costs together to simulate a worst case or best case outcome. Sensitivity analysis complements these techniques by isolating specific variables. Together, they allow for more comprehensive modeling of uncertainty and guide decision makers in evaluating the full spectrum of potential outcomes. Let me show you a simplified example to bring all of this together. Imagine a fictional project, Project T, with a base case NPV of $120,000. If sales increase by 15%, the NPV jumps to $200,000. If sales drop by just 10%, NPV falls to $60,000. Meanwhile, if costs rise by 10%, the NPV drops to $80,000. What this shows is that sales volume is more sensitive than cost. A moderate change in sales leads to a much bigger shift in the project's value. So if you're managing Project T, you know that accurate sales forecasting and customer demand are critical risk factors. This example reflects the kind of analysis outlined by Carlberg and is typical of how businesses test assumptions before approving major investments. So, now we've explored how sensitivity analysis serves as a valuable tool in capital budgeting by identifying risk, identifying key variables, and allowing for more confident financial decision making. It's important to remember that the value of sensitivity analysis lies in both its quantitative and qualitative structure. Its ability to promote critical thinking about what could go wrong and how we might respond adds incredible value to our financial decision making. On this slide, I've listed my references, which includes work from Carlberg, Irons, and Suresh. These authors' insights have helped guide this presentation. Thank you all for joining me on this training session, and I hope it helps you understand the value of applying sensitivity analysis and builds confidence in your financial decision making.